Slick and
Fresh onions and firm pasta, we had to put them in glass just to show them off. Campbell's fresh tasting, best tasting new soups in resealable jars. Sounds good, doesn't it?
Sure does.
The new fresh tasting soups from Campbell.
Weather. Every day it moves and changes. There's something happening somewhere, and we bring you all of it in WeatherScope, the day's top weather stories, with live on-the-scene reports during major breaking events, up-to-the-minute forecast for the nation and specific regions, and fascinating insight that lets you understand exactly what's happening and why. WeatherScope, it's all the weather you want, every 30 minutes on the hour and half hour on the Weather Channel. In this half hour, WeatherScope, a comprehensive national forecast. At 40 after, TravelWise gives you the latest on travel hotspots. Then the weekend outlook. And at 50 after, the storm update. Right now on the Weather Channel, your local forecast. This is WeatherScope.
Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm Lisa Moser. We are monitoring a developing nor'easter that will explode today, bringing tremendous amounts of snow to the northeast and New England areas. Places in central and southern New England could get up to 2 feet of snow by this time tomorrow. New York City could get 1 to 5 inches tonight, and strong winds are another byproduct of this monster system. Now, Boston and some coastal areas down through the mid-Atlantic could experience some very hefty gusts of winds around 60 miles an hour. So for more details, we'll be going to the Forecast Center at this time, checking in with Cheryl Lemke. Cheryl?
Thanks a lot, Lisa, and a good Monday morning to you all. Indeed, it looks as if the Northeast will be gearing up for a major late-season winter storm. And as Lisa's already been mentioning, there is that possibility for some very heavy, wet, slushy snowfall, maybe well over a foot for some places throughout the Northeast. And also we'll be seeing some very fierce winds, possibly approaching hurricane force. Well, as this ominous storm starts to take shape, it looks as if it might be heading right over towards Boston. And with us this morning, we have our very own Rick Griffin, who's in West Andover, Massachusetts, which is just to the northwest of Boston. Good morning, Rick. What's the latest right now?
Well, good morning to you, Cheryl. It is a breezy, wet morning here in West Andover, Mass. We're about 15 or 16 miles north of downtown Boston. The light rain continues. It began a couple of hours ago and has been mostly just light precipitation. Little change in that scenario so far, but one thing I have noticed is the fact that the winds have picked up quite a bit and they're now blowing at 10 to 15 miles an hour, this time out of an easterly direction. So that is a sign that the storm system is beginning to intensify somewhat. Behind me you can see an office building. Lots of folks coming into work this morning, and the attire has changed since yesterday, because yesterday lots of folks, even at the airport last night around 10 or 10:30, had shorts and t-shirts on after a very nice Easter Sunday. It was about 65 degrees here in Boston. Most folks in this area know, however, that in late March and early April, the weather conditions can change rapidly. And that is what's going to happen during the next 24 hours. We have the rain now, but the snow is expected later on today, and possibly even blizzard conditions at times tonight. Cheryl?
Rick, I was wondering if you've had a chance to talk to any of the locals, and if so, have they had a chance to really prepare? Are they going to the grocery stores and stocking up on supplies and that type of thing?
I'm not sure about that. I know the folks here, even though it hasn't been a very snowy winter, are used to winter storms occasionally, winter-like storms this time of the year. And again, the talk at the airport yesterday was about how nice it was today, that is Sunday, yesterday, but the fact that there was snow in the forecast, and perhaps lots of snow. So I think just about everybody is aware of the potential for heavy wet snows, blizzard conditions, difficult driving conditions, trees and power lines down perhaps, and coastal flooding and beach erosion as the very strong winds develop later on today and tonight. So most folks here in the Boston area just waiting for the snow, and we do expect it later on today. And of course, we'll be here live to tell you all about what's happening.
Yes, definitely a wait and see attitude regarding the Northeast, because there is that potential for some really nasty wintry weather later on today.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Rick. We appreciate the update, and we'll be checking back with you a little bit later on this morning.
Okay.
As Rick was mentioning, right now we're just kind of gearing up and waiting to see what actually does happen. But so far, some of the main key players, some of the main ingredients are already starting to come together. Let's take a look at the latest water vapor imagery. And from this perspective, we can see our main surface low, the low pressure area right now located just off the Delmarva coast here. It's right around the mid-Atlantic states. At the same time, though, we've had this big piece of energy that's been dropping down from the Great Lakes. That, too, will start to swing into place. And at that point, we think our storm system will really start to get energized later this afternoon. Right now, there's a low poised just off the coast of Maryland. It continues to draw in moisture from off the Atlantic, while at the same time, colder air, too, is being drawn down from Canada. And as Rick was mentioning, a lot of folks in the Northeast may be kind of a little bit off guard for this, because yesterday, most of the Northeast was basking under unseasonably warm weather. Up around Bridgeport, Connecticut, a record high of 66 degrees yesterday. So now we go from the record warmth to bitterly cold weather and the chance for some very heavy snowfall later on today. But again, so far, because the weather has been so mild, most of the precipitation this morning is in the form of rain as opposed to snow. We've had the rain just to the east of Baltimore this morning.